Okay, perfect. So, Fadi, let's just go straight into it. All right. So, before we get into everything, let everyone know exactly who you are. Give us a little bit of 30-second background and introduction into yourself before we get into it.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Fadi. I am 21 years old. Matter of fact, my birthday is next month, so 22 years old. I am a high ticket closer for a current offer. I've been in sales for the past 6 years, and one of my biggest blessings is meeting AJ and Audie and the team and growing the network, and we're here.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, if you guys are new to my channel, let me do an introduction for myself. Okay, so my name is AJ. I'm the founder of two companies, the Concierge and Innovate. And in my first company, the Concierge, I was able to amass a client portfolio of about $5 million across a span of 8 months, which led me to transition over to this newest company, all right, Innovate, which Fadi was able to get access to, right, and leverage to be where he is at today. And no, we're going to go straight into it. So the way that I'm going to lay this out is I'm going to talk about your background, Fadi, before you even met me and Audie, right? What you're doing then. And then when you ran into us, your experience with Innovate and what you're doing today. And then lastly, I'm going to cover the outlook for what you're doing right now and for the future. All right. So let's touch about that background first. Yeah, I guess when did you start getting into business and why did you start getting into business 6 months ago? And what were you doing?
Wow. So I guess the whole sales, aspect of things runs in the family. Because I asked myself the same question, and when I look back a little bit into my grandfather and my father's, pretty much career, it was all in sales. And funny enough, growing up, I was always intrigued in terms of like, negotiations and growing up seeing those type of things, but I was never really driven into it because I have different ambitions and goals and dreams. But the more I grew, the more I kind of got close to it by nature. Start up in high school. I mean, I played American football throughout high school 4 years, and pretty much every summer, the coach will give us these gift cards or whatnot to sell, so we can come up with a capital for a
Yeah.
new season coming up to buy equipments and stuff. And they gave us about 20 cards each. And I mean, I lived in a very known area in Orlando, Florida, where pretty much a lot of people, there was some good areas and bad areas, but I used to go to, decently good areas, and I would go and door knock, right? And just sell those 20 cars where, I mean, it took me probably a day or maybe two to finish that off and get back to coach and get some more. But the other people take them a month or two just because I don't know if it's a skill set or just didn't take the time for it. But
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is actually pretty fascinating. I'm meeting great people. I'm getting these cars moving. I'm making money from this too. Because if you sell over, you make more money and you help the
Interesting.
team. Yeah, and I was like, all right, that's great. I mean, wow. And then I came across one of my neighbors, and he's doing solar for years and years, and he just loved the way how I approached him. Not only he got a gift card, but he also offered me an opportunity, and I was like, man, um, that would be great. I mean, I could do this too, and I could go to school and stuff. And started kind of just shadowing him, learning from him a little bit, and also implementing the stuff for him. I did that for pretty much a couple of months. It was kind of hard with school and stuff, but I was like, man, I need to get a job going. I'm trying to make some money while I'm in school, but the 9 to 5 thing was also something I never was interested in. So I was like, can I do something like pretty much door to door, but everything goes towards me instead? Um, so I was like, listen, I mean, I could clean windows, outside windows. I wasn't a big fan of landscaping and stuff and cutting grass and stuff. So I was like, let me go outside and just kind of like clean windows. And I was like, man, I live in Florida, right? There's a lot of debris, a lot of dirt in those windows. I'm gonna find a way how to clean those windows. So I door knocked. I saw this dude on YouTube. He did it as well. I kind of got an understanding of the pricing. I did it for fun, and I started door knocking 50 to 60, 70 houses a day, right? And started closing people in terms of just like them cleaning their properties. But long story short, did that for almost 10 months or so. Um, and then I transitioned into the online space because I was like, man, I mean, I want to do everything online where I have more time freedom and also make more money and stuff like that. So that's pretty much a little background in terms of sales and stuff.
Okay. So wait for the interesting. I didn't even know that. I mean that's I'm learning stuff about you that I didn't even know before. So that's how you know this is a raw interview. I had no idea. So for that 6 year time that you were in sales, was
Yeah.
that doing door knocking the whole time, or
Yeah, for the first like 3 years, yes, because I started pretty much like door knocking at 16. I was 16 years old. I remember it was my sophomore year, going up to my junior year.
yeah,
And it was during summer, and we had a summer camp coming up, and I can remember this in the back of my head, like it was yesterday. Yeah, that's when I started pretty much. It was during that summer. I went to summer camp for football. I was getting ready for my junior season in terms of like football career, and then that's when I transitioned into pretty much getting my license too. And now you're going out and you need money in your pocket, and you can't really ask parents for it. And it's just, I'm an only child of a single mother, so she was doing everything she can to help me out. But it wasn't just rainbows, right, and sunshine all the time in terms of like here 20, 30, 40 bucks or $100 to go out. Like you really had to, I had to find a way how to keep gas in my car. I love to go to the beach, and I love to go out with my friends, especially in Orlando and stuff. So I had to figure out a way how to do it. And everything planned out to be the way it is. It started with those gift cards into an opportunity, into starting my own door knocking thing, and um, flipping shoes, doing a lot of things, sales aspect. I mean, there's a lot of little side quests and then the main things for 3 years. And then COVID happened. So COVID happened. That's when I transitioned to the online space. So that's
okay.
how we came along.
Okay, nice. Because you're going to be talking to a variety of people that have already been in the high ticket space for years, looking for opportunities, and then obviously people looking to transition into the obviously the online space. But I mean, aside from sales, did you try anything else to make money online? Anything before you got
Yeah.
into high ticket closing? What did you, and then walk me through what did you try?
Oh yeah. Typical SMMA for sure. It was crazy. I'm gonna just say it out flat. I used to call Christmas light installers. I swear to God. And this was like fall season, and they all like they charge really high up for these properties, especially in Florida. Um, I don't want to say where, but Florida, Central Florida, pretty
Yeah,
big houses, and these light installers like they 3 to 4 thousand per property, and it goes up way higher, and they have money for ads. They just rely on word of mouth. So I was like, yo, I was cold calling like 200 of those a day, 250 of those, and they were pretty chill. They weren't like rude customers or rude people. Like they genuinely picked up the phone because they need clients, and it was me, not a client, but a savior, right? So they loved it, and I had like 3 clients in the first 45 days, paying like a $2,700 retainer for 2 months, especially in that fall season. Um,
I had
and
no
they got
idea.
yeah, yeah, that was fantastic. It's in my Instagram. It's in one of my highlights. With the SMMA stuff. Um,
Really?
but yeah, so I tried SMMA in terms of like the online space of things. I did wholesale real estate as well, where my buddy and I pretty much brought it up as a like I said like a something to do because I went to Tallahassee for like 6 months, TCC for school. There was a lot of distressed properties there, and then I moved back to Orlando. So I was like, man, I mean, I could. You're telling me I can call somebody that wants that needs to sell that property. I could renegotiate that for lower. There's cash buyers all over Facebook, and I can just like
Yeah.
not even do the process and make commission out of that from a title company that I don't even need to go to straight wire to my bank account. You're kidding me. So,
Walk
dude,
me, I
COVID.
guess, yeah, yeah. Let me touch up on this real quick. So, walk me through that. So, obviously, you're very experienced in the sales space, right? You were doing door knocking, right? You went
Yeah,
to this agency model, even wholesale, right? So, you've always been like a sales guy. You've always had conversations. That's how you're making money. You know, you're really good at talking to people, right? Um, but what was that like? I guess aha moment where you're like, all right, dude, I have this really, really good skill set, but I'm not really doing what I want to be doing, right? You're still walking, and you said you like spending time with your friends, walking to the beach, right? So you're trying to find a more leveraged way to obviously make the same amount of money doing the exact same thing that you're doing, right?
yeah.
So what was it that kind of like was like, oh, dude, the challenges that pushed you to actually want to, all right, I need to take the skill set somewhere else and then get into closing. What was that?
The time freedom, honestly, extremely time freedom. My dream was to become a professional soccer player, and I realized that I could because I'm gonna have to start very low in my career, not knowing that I'm gonna make a lot of money to start off my career and stuff with soccer. So I needed to do something while I'm abroad playing soccer and working and make money to sustain myself. And that's exactly what happened. I went to Romania for a couple of months. I signed a Division 4 soccer contract, and I was bringing it up. And I was like, look, I transitioned into that the moment I got into the online high ticket sales and stuff, though. So I was like, listen, I don't want to drive around for a dollar trying to find properties to sell for wholesaling. And I don't want to deal with the client fulfillment for social media marketing. And I don't want a door knock. Like, I don't want to go around in humid Florida for God knows 8 hours a day, door knocking 70 houses, and I have to rely on people showing up to the jobs because I can't door knock and do the jobs as well. And those people were very unreliable. So that was out of the window, right? The second thing was the social media marketing agency. The clients are never satisfied, no matter what it is, even if you're bringing them a ton of leads and they're actually closing. So I was like, man, it's good money, but I need to transition out of this. The wholesaling was fantastic. I mean, I could do one or two deals, even if I'm joining venture with a different wholesaler. I'm still making 5 to 10K a month. But you also got to be grinding to find those deals, and it's not sustainable. But high ticket sales, I was like, man, you telling me I can get on Zoom calls with individuals that need help from a specific coach, and I can take 5, 6, 7, or 8 of those a day, and I'm closing, making great commission, and still hitting my financial goal that I'm aiming for from anywhere in the world while I can play soccer abroad if I wanted to, sign me up. Sign
Yeah.
me up.
Yeah, because I mean,
That's yeah.
you get that time freedom, right, and you make the exact same amount of money, and it's just a more leveraged way to do exactly what you're doing without the hassle. You just wake up, take calls, and then you're good, right? Um, but no. So I guess before we go into the next part with your experience with Innovate, if you don't know what high ticket sales is, everyone, and you need context, go watch the rest of my videos on my YouTube. Okay, go get context. Otherwise, you're not going to understand what me and Fadi are actually going to be talking about. So I need you to go get smarter. I need you to go to learn more, and then come back to this video on how exactly Fadi is making this amount of money. All right. So no, Fadi. So obviously sales background, right? But three obstacles stood in your way with every single model that you kind of went in, right? With solar, you're walking, you're door knocking. That's a no-go. Agency, fulfillment, it's too much. And then clients want more from you, right? And they're never satisfied, right? And the money was good, but fulfillment was terrible, right? Which is usually a lot of what, I don't know if you know agency space, but the fulfillment is just entrepreneurship slavery is what I like to call it. If you're running an agency that's not leveraged at all. And then the last one was wholesale. Obviously you're making really, really good money, right? But you have to grind for those deals. And the biggest thing for you really wasn't the money, it was more the freedom of, all right, I'm gonna go play soccer, make the same amount of money, right? Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
No, 100%. You're spot on.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So, before we go into your experience with Innovate, tell everyone how you actually found us because this is interesting. We got connected through a very different and unique way.
Yeah, it's crazy. The sales world is very small. Everybody knows everybody in terms of what it is, especially if you're a good talent or even if you're starting out. Um, your reputation means a lot, right? Because everybody would know about you, trust me, somehow or somewhat, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a good salesperson, like everybody would know. If you're not that well, a lot of people would know, and if you're not serious, they would know. Like it just everybody knows. But yeah, we've got connected um from a dear friend that we both have in common, right? Mutual friend that needed a closer at the time, starting his offer, and you referred a friend that referred another friend that knew me, and it played out very well.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I mean, I first month with that offer, I think it was at like 40,000 from starting out or something, and it was so
Yeah.
it was insane, and we're talking about a long time ago too. So
Yeah.
it's crazy because my connects, they don't know your connects, but the one person in the middle knew both of you guys and connected, and now we're here. Like, it's wild. So everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. So let's backtrack and break that down for everybody. Obviously, with my company Innovate that we started, and the reason we started it was for two reasons, right? So when I was running the concierge and I had my $5 million client portfolio, I ran into two big obstacles. Was one, there's actually not a lot of founders, or I don't want to say not a lot. They're hard to get access to founders that are doing anywhere from 100K a month and plus, right? And those are the ideal people that you want to be working for, right? Industry standard, 10% cut on 100K a month. If you're the only closer, 10K a month, right? That was one of the things that I ran into with all of my clients. I couldn't find 100 people that were making 100K a month, which was interesting because I hopped into this space, was like, all right, I see so many people making so much money in this lifestyle. Everybody has to be rich, right? And then I was just misled. Not a lot of people actually make 100K a month profit. So that was my first problem. And then the second problem was I didn't have access to really, really good people like yourself, Fadi, that had high caliber skill sets, specifically in the sales world, where they can go out and close deals, talk to leads, and generate a lot of money for businesses. And that's what my whole sales agency relied on, which was like world-class talent. Those are my two biggest things, right? And so the way that we got connected was, for context on everybody, I have a good friend in the entrepreneurship space who happened to like, start a clothing offer, and he has a clothing brand, massive serial entrepreneur. He's doing very, very well. Shout out Prince, if you're watching this. I hope you do watch this. Appreciate you for the connect. And no, that's how I met Fadi and instantly got placed. So the way Innovate works is I genuinely need really, really, really good salespeople that are reliable, like Fadi. And he was already good from the get-go. One text message, he showed me his experience. And I was like, all right, this guy's amazing. And I instantly got you placed onto an offer that ended up just you being the closer. First month, it was a startup, 40K cash, just collected by you yourself, correct?
Yeah, and it was straight outbound too. Like there was no ads ran at all. It was 40,000 just from the pipeline of outbound.
From the pipeline he already had existed, right? Yeah, and I told you I needed a killer, called you up, and I was like, all right, cool, placed. And so that's that. To be honest, you were in the beginning stages of Innovate. There's a lot more features now
Yeah,
to Innovate,
I,
but that's the basis of how we got connected. So walk everyone through that. How seamless was it when you did find us at Innovate, me and Audie, to turn around as soon as you joined and make your first dollar, to be honest? Like that's probably what a lot of people just want to know and what everyone is wondering. What was the turnover time from when you met me and Audie to your first dollar?
I mean, I can't put this more simple in this. You need the right talent to be placed, like just like you said. And for an SDR or salesperson, you need connection. You need somebody like AJ or Audie to put you in the right place because you guys know the people and you guys have resources. A lot of big coaches and founders, like they trust you guys with so much to bring on talent or just salespeople in general. It's very important. So I mean, in terms of what it is, I was onboarded right there and then. I was welcome to the team, and immediately I had my everything set up where I was just taking calls literally the second day. I mean, that's just what it was. And I had people booked in and stuff. Um, the first couple of pretty much like days of taking the calls were just really getting familiar with everything, obviously with the offer and getting to know more about the clothing brand space and knowing how Prince really is and how he talks and what we offer. And I was pretty much looking at the client's results too, so I can have full conviction. So I'm selling what I'm selling the right way. Um, but you guys' accountability and you guys' professionalism made things a lot smoother. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what it is. It's not like being thrown in the middle of the ocean, you gotta swim away. Like
Right.
you guys pretty much put everything in place the right way, where it's a lot smoother for a salesperson to acclimate and perform and being held accountable throughout the journey so we can pretty much perform too. So it was really great.
I appreciate the converts. I hope I do a good job. I work pretty hard, I'd say. Now, so when was your first dollar? So you said obviously your second day you were taking calls. When was that first close, money in the bank from the second or day that you met me and Audie? When was your first commission?
So when I received my first commission, or what was my first close in general for the offer?
Yeah. First close. Because I mean that's technically your commission. You get paid for that.
Yeah, we've done 10,000 in the first week, and I was I think 5 days taking calls. I was onboarded on a Tuesday, and by Sunday we've done 10 to 12 just from the outbound. and I remember I got paid on that Sunday night. So 5 days in, after I pretty much finished up all my calls and stuff, and um, yeah, and I was guys, I was taking those calls with full conviction while I was going, and just pretty much like
Yeah.
making it happen. But obviously, I've gotten a lot better when I got really familiar with the clothing brand space because I had a lot of knowledge on what I was talking about. But in the first 5 days, I was just in the rut, going at it, trying to make it happen. Because I wasn't the best clothing brand, ambassador. But then obviously, as I got better, the offer grew, and at the end of the month, we done 40,000, and it grew the way it did. So, but the first week, it was 10 to 12. I don't remember the numbers. It was a long time ago, bro. But it was 10 to 12 in the first 5 days. I do remember that. And I got paid on a Sunday night. Yeah, I did. It was a Zelle too. I got Zelle before the payment things were structured out too. So
With the clothing brand offer or because I know you were on a clothing brand offer or the trading offer. Which one was that? Because I know you were on two.
I was talking about Chris.
Oh, oh, okay. So yeah, let's catch everyone up on that. That's obviously through
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, there's a clothing
But
brand.
how much did you end up doing that month with him?
40,000.
Okay, and how much did you end up making before you made that transition into where you're at right now? I thought we were completely talking about the trading offer that you're on right now.
Oh yeah, we can talk about the trading offer. I mean, that's very exciting. Like, we can talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Let's get into that. Obviously, the
Yeah,
clothing brand. How much did you end up making that month?
with the clothing brand,
Yeah,
40,000 in cash collected, and I made 4 grand. So I got, yeah.
nice. Nice. And then okay, so and that's your first month with us, obviously, and that's your turnover time, 30 days.
Right.
Okay. Now let's compare that to obviously the one you're on right now, which I thought we were talking about. That's why I was like a little confused for a second for a second. When you went through Innovate and obviously you reached out for another offer, another opportunity, I instantly got you placed onto the second company, and which is what you're on right now. And I think you guys are on a run rate to a seven-figure business by the end of the year.
Yeah,
Just
100.
looking at the stats that I saw. So walk me through that when you got into this second company.
Relatively, it's a new offer, right? Um, New offer. A lot. You and Audie came in and pretty much started everything from ground up, right? I mean, in terms of placing me as the first and only closer and 2 setters. Um, and I remember it's very new. We're only a couple months in, right? And first month we've done. I mean, we only had one. I think we had 10 active days, or a bit less than that, in terms of actually taking calls and closing people because everything was getting set up. So
Yeah.
we've done 25,000 out of that week, week and a half taking calls. And then
Yeah,
obviously
which
with,
is a run rate for a seven-figure business in the first month.
yes, exactly. And then after that, you brought on a great talent in terms of the setter and closer. And then that one week from the webinar, we've done, I think, 50,000 in that first week of that, and then we crushed it for the remaining of the month. And then this month, I'm just so excited. That's all it is. I'm just so tired for this month already. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
it's been
so let's backtrack, give some people some context on that. All right. So the process was seamless as the first one, right? The turnover time was days, hours, maybe till your first commission, you're taking a call closed. That's cool. And I want to emphasize this real quick before we move on to obviously everything else about the offer. People like I don't know if you understand this, but that is hard. Do you know how many outreaches it took for me to get my first role and what everyone else is doing right now? They're going through Facebook groups, they're going through LinkedIn groups, they're doing all these other messages to try to find offers that you instantly got placed onto in a 24-hour turnover time, making your first dollar, first close. And obviously the results are amazing for the past couple months, but compared to the 99% of people in the high ticket closing space, they'll never get a shot like that to get placed on a seven-figure business ever. Take them
I
years,
agree. I
years
do.
of outreach and like I don't even want to go into it because I did all of that outreaching and messages. Yo, do you have an appointment setter slot available? Can I close for your team? Do you have an offer? Right. But no, that it's insane the transformation you went through from obviously as soon as you got into the high ticket space, two companies where you're able to generate that much cash within your first 2 months, right? And for context on everyone, how much did you make, or how much have you made since being on this trading offer from the day you started till now? Because I think everyone wants to know, like, if this is actually real, if this is actually, like, if I'm lying or if you're lying, how much you actually made in the time that you've made on that offer.
Yeah, well, tell them exactly when did the offer start. When did we start?
Must have been like June, like I think it was like 2 months
4th,
ago.
June 4th.
June.
June 4th to be exact. Yes. So
Yeah.
June 4th, that was the
This
exact
year.
day. It was on a Tuesday as well. June 4th, I remember you texting me on a Saturday. And we were on the onboarding call to get in the team on Monday. So 2 days later,
Yeah.
we had that call. And then Tuesday, my calendar was set up and everything, right? And I got on my first two calls I remember that came through the pipeline. That's when they're also testing the ads and stuff and they started running everything and then the setters are getting active. Um, but even with the payout too, the way how things were structured out, I mean, I literally got paid for my first close immediately because of the system, how they pretty much the team pays, us out.
Yeah.
Um, Literally immediately. I was blown away because obviously you get like it's a week or bi-weekly or whatnot, but that was immediately. And shout out my two boys if you're watching this too, because they names, but they're watching. Um, but yeah, man, it was fantastic. So I can speak about this past month, especially July. Um,
Yeah, from that June 4th till today.
June 4th to today, I personally closed um upwards of 60,000. And it's from 3 weeks of active calls. I have an 80% close rate. Last month I've taken 25 calls and I closed 19. I had my best day was a $9,640 day, which is almost 10K. I closed six people back to back. My best week was $26,000 from Monday to Sunday. Of taking calls. So in the past 3.5 weeks, I've closed upwards of um, 60,000 since the offer started. Um, that's the stats.
Uh,
That's the stats.
How much have you actually taken home from that in the past from June 4th till today?
I've got paid out for the whole thing. It was covered out on the 1st of August. So
Nice. Nice. No, I mean, like, and that just goes to show, like the vehicle that you're currently in right now is way more leverage from door knocking, from the agency, from the Amazon, right? I feel like you're doing really, really well. So obviously, if you had to give some feedback, obviously with your experience with Innovate, what were the best things about Innovate? The value that me and Audie put into this company, into this platform. What would you say the best things that we provided for you?
wow. I'll say the opportunity and being mindful with your people because I feel comfortable knowing that this offer or any other offer wouldn't work, and I'm pretty much very confident on you placing me somewhere else where I need to be because you guys work so much on working with the best, not just anybody, but also the best in the game. And those people need talent. And if it's not even just talent, they need salespeople. And this is just a growing business where it's going to only grow and moving forward, where talent is needed, but salespeople are very needed as well. So in general, the fact that you guys host training, I mean, for me, I'm never too good to get training from anybody. You need to learn more and grow more. Nobody's perfect. And the fact that you guys take the time out too for all the upcoming salespeople or people that are starting up in this or even experienced people, the fact that we can all come in and get on those calls and you guys share your wisdom and talking as a family and growing together and sharing our stats and hyping each other up and holding each other accountable. So I say the opportunity of being at ease, knowing that you can always find a different offer if this one falls through by God's hands, and the fact that you can also grow with the family. And the fact that you guys are managing this, especially with a huge number of people, is insane to me because it's not easy. It's not, right? So, um, like I said, the opportunities you guys provide for everyone, the fact that you guys are hands on with everything, and the training and the personalized feeling is something that's unreal. Nobody's doing this. Nobody will. I don't think nobody has the caliber or the guts to do it. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud of you and what audios are doing. You guys are crushing it. and I'm just so happy to be part of this. And I'm not just saying this because of this video. Like seriously, I do mean this from the bottom of my heart,
Yeah.
because everybody else will feel the same way, whether they're doing these type of numbers that I'm doing or people that are doing better than me and less than me. Just the fact to be able to do this is a blessing from anywhere in the world, right? Um, and
That's
that and this gave me the chance where I lived in Thailand for 3 months, and I'm right here. I'm overseas again, and I could go back home and I could do this. So
Yeah, well, oh
it's
yeah,
been
tell the audience where you're at right now and where you're making this amount of money from. Because I know obviously you're from the States, but where are you? What have you been doing since high ticket sales? Because it allows you to have this freedom that you're currently going. I think people would get a lot of inspiration and insight from
yeah,
where you are.
totally no 100%. I mean, guys, I was born in New York, lived a little bit in Morocco, and went back to the States at a very young age to finish all my studies, including like middle school, high school, and a little bit of college before I dropped out. So I traveled to Romania for my little of a soccer career, where I was also working pretty much with high, sales and online stuff. But I went to Thailand for 3 months, December, December, January, and February of this year. And I've been in Morocco for the past couple of months. And I got a couple of trips planned out too. Some in Europe and some overseas in Asia. I'm excited for that.
Traveling the world, making printing money by just taking calls. All right.
Yeah.
In insane. Like I said, also, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, please go get context from the other videos. Right. But no, and I'm gonna touch on one thing. Let's backtrack for a second on what you said, because I think what you just said was you could come back to me, and the biggest thing that I provide value with is opportunities, right? And hands-on, right? So this is one thing, and one big ass misconception in the space is that like a model is going to get you rich. I'm assuming that's probably what you thought when you started an agency, right? Okay, oh, this agency, I'm gonna retire off this. But it comes with its the same problems, right? It comes with its caveats, and no one actually talks about the dark side of every single model that is pushed on the internet, right? There are things that you have to have in place to make the models work. I'm not shitting on any of them, right? They all work. But for you, it's not really a model for you. It's the skill set of sales that's allowed you to make this amount of money, right? The people that you work with, right? It's not relying on trends. It's not relying on anything else except you and your skill set. That is how you are making money. It's not a model, it's you. And then getting access to the right opportunities through Innovate. That is it. Right. And I want to emphasize that because everyone thinks that this model is going to retire them, and it's just not. Right. Especially beginners standing out, right, that are watching this. Because I have a couple people that want to start making money online. But
I want to touch up on one thing, AJ,
yeah,
because a lot of people will ask you if
yeah,
why did you transition from the previous offer to the new offer, right? That's what they will
yeah.
ask. Well, the coach that I was working with has changed pretty much his approach with his clients. He went from a ticket to a very low ticket that doesn't require a close rating, more like a monthly retainer thing. It was very little. So I love closing, so I'm gonna stick to that, right? So that's when I reached out to AJ, and it was perfect time because he needed a closer for the offer that was starting up, and I was like, man, you know what? This is perfect timing. My current coach is transitioning to the very low ticket for the monthly retainers, and he doesn't need a closer anymore. He's a great buddy of mine. He's actually a brother of mine now, and it was just a mutual like, hey, I'm transitioning. So for everybody else's contact, just so you know, like I was working with that coach for upwards of a year, literally, and we started with 40K and we crushed it for the remaining of the year, and I was doing really well. And this offer that I'm working on, it's relatively new and it's gonna crush like crazy. So um, a lot of people will be like, well, AJ is gonna place me anywhere. Well, that's not the case. So just gotta work and believe because you guys deliver like always. So, yeah.
I appreciate that, Fadi. Yeah, and I mean, that's also one of the reasons why I started Innovate was for talented people like yourself, because you could have the best skill set, you could have the best talent, but it literally does not matter. You could be the best closer in the world, Jeremy Minor level, and then above. But if you are in a wrong vehicle, the wrong company, the wrong offer, doesn't matter what you're selling, you're not going to make money. you're just not, right? And that's something that I ran into. And that's why when people that are brand new reach out to me for money, I that's why I created Innovate. Because like for you, you can come back to me, say your offer fails for whatever reason. I know it's not because you guys are crushing right now, but you can come back to me, ask for another offer, go out and make 10K a month. Guaranteed, because it's based off of your performance, based off of your skill set, the value that you bring to the company, how much money you can be generating for the company. You can go out and crush 10K a month whenever you want now. Right? You have that like that safety net, which a lot of people in entrepreneurship they don't have, right? Which is powerful. Okay. So no, we're gonna come to the last stages of this interview, Fadi. I have a couple more questions I just want to ask you before we end it off, right? Let's talk about the future for a little bit. What's the outlook for you now? Obviously, being with this company for a couple days, months. What's the outlook for you?
Yeah, I mean, the goal for the offer that I'm on is to be consistent with hitting high numbers, conference in the road of seven figures, right? So that's the goal is to crush the remaining 5 months of this year and um, lead the team together. I mean, it's not just me. I value our setters so much. Everybody's working like family as it should. Um, and we're just gonna crush it for remaining of the year and keep going like that because the goal is to really grow this out. The coach has a great product, a great reputation. Is just putting it out there in front of the right people and staying consistent. I mean, there's a culture that's being pretty much established, and that's the goal. The goal is to stay loyal, to stay humble, to keep performing, and to keep executing and growing. That's the goal, individually and with the team, and as a person too. So that's the goal for the offer itself. The goal for me is to obviously give back as much to my mother. Like just like it sounds cheesy, but it's true. Initially, that's what it is. I do not have siblings. I do not have a father figure, but I do have a great mother that I'm trying to give everything back to her. Seriously. So um, she's been through a lot, and um, I can't say the name for this specific individual that has helped me a lot, but he gave me an opportunity to be where I'm at today in terms of just the courage as a youngster. So, um, but the goal for me is to travel a lot to get back to her and to just build off from that. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about right now is hit high numbers and grow as an individual and with the team. So.
I appreciate you for sharing that with us, Fadi. And no, I knew you were a killer from the start, so I'm glad you're winning. You deserve to be winning at a lot of people that I've met, right? You're gonna do big things. Last question for you before we close this off, right? If you had to start from scratch, if you had to get those 6 years back when you were 16, right? Obviously, you need to build up your skill sets, and you're the way you are because of your experiences. But you had to start from scratch.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to yourself? What model would you start? And what would you do differently compared to 6 years ago, knowing what you know now?
Wow. What would the 6 years start now?
Yeah, and let's say I existed 6 years ago too.
Okay, perfect. That's great. That's great because 6 years ago the opportunities weren't as it is now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of the social media, the Instagram, and even the e-learning platforms and the coaches and the offers weren't huge back then at all. If what we live now existed 6 years ago and I was fresh into it, first things first, you need to understand where you at with your sales skills. Right? If you're genuinely new into this, you need to reach out for help. You definitely do. You need to reach out for help so you can be guided to the right direction in terms of the things you need to know in sales, and you need to practice. Practice makes well, nothing is perfect. Practice makes better. That's what I like to say instead of perfect. So you need to practice, but within yourself and experience, but with the right people too. I can't stress this enough. Getting the right help is very, very essential. So first things first, I'll say um, take care of yourself because this is a sport. I think sales is a sport. So if you're just living just relentlessly just like that and you want to get into sales, newsflash, probably not going to do well. You need to come in this with the right mindset. You need to take care of yourself, mind like with your mindset psychologically to be able to take these calls, help other people, and be a good sport around other people as well and get maybe working with. So take care of yourself first. Build an Instagram that's pretty much trustworthy to be able to connect with others because social media is key. Reach out for help. Have good intentions. Be eager to learn. Practice. When you get an opportunity, seize it. Doesn't matter how small or big. You're a student, and you'll always be a student of life for real, for real. Start low. Start as a setter. Start anything. It doesn't matter. Just start, learn, grow, shadow, watch recordings, take notes, watch high caliber coaches, and join Innovate. What the? That's it. That's what you need to do. Seriously. If I had to go back 6 months ago, this is exactly the steps that I would do for sure.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So I'm gonna cut it to the end here, Fadi. I know people can't watch information for a lot of time, so I definitely want to make sure everyone stays to a good attention span. People will drop off. They don't want to learn nowadays. So cut off here. So if you're someone who made it to the end of this video and you want to recreate Fadi's success, all right, there's going to be two things for you. And I have two things for you. One, there's going to be a link in the description for free resources. And I mean free. All right, if you want to know what high ticket sales is, don't spend thousands of dollars on some bullshit ass thing that's not going to get you any help. I'll provide it for free. Give it to you for thousands or provide thousands of value, worth of value, because I need people like Fadi. I need people like yourself that are grinders, that want to make money, that want to grow in something, that want to build something amazing, right? Go learn for free. That is the first link that's going to be in there. And then the second link is going to be a link to book in a call with my team personally if you also want to recreate Fadi's success in the past whatever 6 years, right, of going through all the models, the agency, right, and wanting to transition to something that has a little bit more leverage, a little bit more freedom, right, which is high ticket closing, and then getting connected to Innovate, right, and then instantly getting placed on an offer within your first 24-hour turnover time, making your first dollar, and then for the next couple of months, obviously collecting a atrocious amount of money for yourself. You deserve it, right? You worked really hard. If you want to recreate that as well, you can book in a call with my team to get more clarity onto how we can point you in the right direction and see if we can help you out. Okay. Last thing, if you are a founder that does $100,000 a month plus, or you're looking to do $100,000 and scale to that number, right? One of my goals for the next year to 5 years is to partner up with 500 to 1,000 CEOs and founders that do 100K a month plus, right? So if that is someone that is like yourself, I would love to have a conversation to see if I can, get some pointers for you, context on your offer, and see if I can help you out. And if you can honestly help me out as well. I love talking to rich people and getting insights and breakdowns, right? So, because one of the biggest things I Innovate is I want to be able to connect world-class talent with world-class founders, right? So if that is you, there's going to be a link for you as well. And no, Fadi, I appreciate you for hopping on, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.